Thank you, everyone, into another week of Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. Neighborhood friends, getting together weekly, drinking some beers and some whiskey, talking sports at MJ's Bar and Grill, your local watering hole here in Lake Carolina, South Carolina. And stay tuned as we discuss. Oh, we just had a person enter the show.
The Rooster.
The Rooster.
On time, I might add.
Stay tuned as we discuss this week's college football conference championships. Big games this weekend. We got Michigan against Iowa. We got Georgia against Alabama. We will be talking about those games plus all the other games that we have in the conference championships. I even have App State versus Troy on the list for my man, the App State alumni himself. Always love having fans support the show. We got a drinking habit, and it is expensive. So go ahead, and if you'd like to.
We've been kind of dry the last few weeks, man.
Yeah. Get us some drinks. Now you can do that at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. Feel free to share this show with your friends. Subscribe to it. We have a Facebook group. It is amazing. Go ahead and check that out as well. And then keep on coming back and listening to this show every single weekend. That's what we're going to do. This is Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.
Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports.
Are you really doing season 4 of that stupid podcast?
Y'all know the name of the show. It's Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. And what do guys do when they talk sports at the bar? They drink beer. So if you want to buy us a beer, you can Venmo us. The Venmo is at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.
So let's get some introductions going, shall we? We already heard that he's here. You got him, the man himself, the Rooster. What are you going to be drinking, Rooster? Because you just got here, so.
Just the usual little bit of bourbon on a cold South Carolina night.
It's a little chilly out there.
You look cold.
It is a little chilly out there.
Here.
Oh,
Well,
you are cold.
Bourbon will warm you up for sure. I was thinking about drinking a little bit myself. We have Cheeks. What are you drinking, Cheeks, with your Eagles? You got the Eagles colors going and everything tonight.
I am Eagles, yes.
What are you drinking?
And the funny thing is that this is banana bread beer, and the name of the company is Eagle.
Banana bread beer.
By Eagle.
And it's by Eagle. That's pretty good stuff.
Yep.
We have my man, the Rebel, always sipping on a little bit of bourbon and soda.
Nigga, soda. Where are you from, man?
Bourbon and Coke.
Diet.
Bourbon and diet. All right.
Soda. I got my soda pop.
Soda.
Soda pop.
Soda.
Soda. I'm from New England, and I don't know if that's soda is. Yeah, that's New England. Then you got
Yes.
pop out in the Midwest,
Yes,
right?
down here everything's Coke.
That's right. And everything's Coke around here. Yeah, exactly. Even the stuff you snorted. All right.
Put the women and children to bed.
All right. And we have my man, Chopper.
What's
what are you
going
drinking,
on?
Chopper?
An ice cold Kentucky vanilla cream ale in honor of the Wildcats.
Oh, is that right? Because they are playing basketball.
I'm glad to see he made it tonight. No rope burns around his neck. No slits on his wrist. He's here. He's supportive. I'm glad to see it.
Hey, roll tide.
What? It was a bet.
It
You
was.
did good on Saturday night. You recovered well.
It was an interesting turn of events in that
I
game, and
lost
I'm
my
sorry
freaking
that
mind.
happened to you. And then I am Hanger. I'm drinking myself a Yingling, the world's, America's oldest brewery.
It's the
And
only no, women. That's Pat's Blue Ribbon.
but this beer right here, I just took a sip of it earlier, and I was like, wow, I forgot how good Yingling is. So
It is.
I might order a second one of these tonight.
I think Pat's is the only American-owned brewery left.
Pabst is the only American
Really?
owned
Mass
brewery.
produced.
Only major distributor.
I thought-
That's what I said. The major one. The
I
major.
thought Coors Light.
No, they sold out too.
They did,
Molson.
okay. Oh, that's right, they're a Canadian brewery. Damn it, man. I thought I was drinking all American when I was drinking some Coors Light.
America.
All right, America, baby. All right, so last weekend there was some good games. We're going to go ahead and reflect on those games, and we're going to talk about the words of the day. And I was going to actually eliminate words of the day from the show.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it. But I think our fans like it, so I'm going to keep it going.
Yep.
Because I heard that is part of their favorite part of the show. All 14 of our fans said it, and 7 of those 14 are me listening on 7 different podcast apps.
What was their favorite word?
So, the favorite word is grudge match, which no one knew what it meant for a while, I don't think. But there was a few grudge match games out there last week, and y'all know what I'm talking about when it comes to Alabama. You got the Michigan game, the Florida game was a grudge match. Like, there was a lot of grudge match games out there. Let's talk about one of them, shall we, Cheeks?
I thought they were all grudge matches last week. Actually.
Did USC have a grudge match?
They did.
Against
That was
UCLA?
No, wrong with USC. Sorry.
Well, UCLA played Stanford, so.
Oh, who did USC
And USC
get?
didn't play because they were a game ahead.
Oh, they were. Okay, gotcha. Never mind then.
Yeah.
All right, so Rooster, give me a grudge match game that you want to
I
talk
love they
about.
couldn't see it, but he acted out Rooster.
I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but the Alabama-Auburn game coming down the wire, lots of reels, lots of TikToks coming out about fan reactions in the final minutes of those games.
We were actually watching one before the show. My man over here, Chopper, brought up a specific on that. So why don't you tell us about it?
I was going to say, so I won't steal his thunder. Instead, I sat down at Williams-Brice Stadium, good old Billy Bryce, freezing my buttocks off to watch the hapless offense only score 7 points. Still a grudge match. It was a grind. Good to see the defense showed up. Offense just couldn't move the ball. No down field threat with with one of the best wide receivers in the country. I think he only had 2 passes over 15 yards, which is kind of baffling.
Which game was this?
This was the Gamecocks. You don't know where Williams-Brice Stadium is?
No,
it's just in downtown Columbia. It's a small place. You might have missed it driving by, but good old Gamecocks against Clemson.
That was
game was about as entertaining as watching paint dry.
Try being there freezing your butt off.
It was
I
about
was freezing my butt off, but I was celebrating.
Were you there? You were at the App State game.
Yes.
So tell me,
39 degrees.
So
We
tell
were
me,
up here where it was warm.
It was only 42 here.
Fair point.
was that a grudge match up there in App
No, that was
State?
what you call a good old ass kicking. That's what that was.
Yeah, that was actually a good game.
That's more one of our later down the words coming up for me. So I'm going off the reservation a little bit for my words
Now, when
tonight.
you have a good rivalry game, you always want it to be a good grudge match.
No, you don't.
Right? You always do.
So,
always.
I want to curb stomp them.
No.
No, you want a good
No.
grudge
You want a
match
good
when
game,
you
right?
win.
And if you look at,
Go ahead.
well, yeah, if you look at the Alabama-Auburn Iron Bowl grudge match, back and forth. Both teams played great. Auburn showed up. Alabama showed up at the end. Just a great game. You know,
Auburn
great
showed
game
up,
all
and
the
I
way
was
around.
not expecting that at all.
Yeah, so that was something that we talked about last week, and that it would be different this week, right? You would not see the same team as you saw against New Mexico State against Alabama ever.
I think that's what grudge matches bring out in
Yeah.
teams. You got kids that have probably half the teams have probably played against each other for their high school careers. They know each other, grew up down the street from each other, so they know strengths and weaknesses better than anybody.
Yeah, one thing that's always funny when you see a great game like that, and you see the fans up in the stands crying, and you see people just pissed off. The players that know each other down the field always like just hugging each other, like, "Hey, good game." They all know each other.
The thing about that
You know what I
game,
mean?
the thing about
they're
that
all friends
game,
with each other, yeah.
speaking of the fans were in it last week
Oh, yeah.
in Auburn. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was intense,
Yeah.
and they were on this high for like 45 minutes straight, just going crazy. We got a chance, we're gonna win. You can see that with a minute left in the game. They're like, it's over with, we're gonna win. And then what happened? A little hold. Can't let Milrow throw that ball into the corner.
Yeah,
I mean,
a big hold.
39-yard
What?
touchdown pass.
but let's be
But
honest.
you know what? A great freaking play though. I mean, just what a pass.
Or bad defense, one
What
of the
a
two.
pass.
That was terrible defense.
Well,
You had
Guard
10 people in the end zone sitting there waiting for the ball.
I know.
Somebody should have had a pass interference call of some sort
Yes.
to end that game for sure.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the told you so moments then. No, wait, you know what? I got to get mine in there because the FSU game was a grudge match. Florida was leading that game up into the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden, we fall apart. But that was expected. We had a novice quarterback that didn't know what he was doing, true freshman. They had one that was sitting behind. I mean, good game. Nobody cares about it except for me, so we'll move on.
Well, that's one thing. It's like mine is very group of five-ish, since I'm the group of five-ish guy around here. It was a cool grudge match. Nobody watched it. Nobody cared. But it was kind of cool Old Dominion scores on the last play of the game to beat Georgia State to become bowl eligible. It's a good Sun Belt Conference game. Georgia State had won their first 6 games, trying not to lose their last 6 games. Again, it's one of those things of it's a smaller school, but when you see that happen, it's like they went like you see the whole like bench cleared to the field. They get the flag. They don't care. They get to go bowling. Whether it's 6-6, you could. That's a later conversation. Go ahead.
We'll talk about that later on. Told you so. I do not have a told you so.
That was easy. That was actually easy because unfortunately you missed last week, but we had all these wonderful setups, and I picked all of them correctly.
All of them.
Go ahead.
Tell me more.
So my told you so was picking. Let's see.
Come on now.
FSU over Florida, Clemson over USC, Alabama over Auburn, Oregon over Oregon State, and NC State over UNC.
That's a good call. NC State over US or
I had
UNC
4 to 5 in
as
the 5th one. Last day was a coin toss, and I couldn't pick a winner. But I did say if I had to, it was North Carolina, so I give you that.
I told you so is part of the reason why Ripper the Predictor is tired tonight.
That's why he's not here tonight.
And that is that I told you so. Michigan over Ohio State.
He couldn't even talk about it. I guess he's scared to come in here and have that
No,
conversation.
he said last week he was going to buy us all around if Ohio State won.
But tonight he's tired. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
I'm telling you, so I had that game on my beast mode, and that's for one reason only, and it's Michigan is a good, solid freaking team. Defensively, they put up the fight. They did the right thing on defense, but Blake Corum is all beast mode, man. That guy, he can get, if it's a short yards situation, he can get those 3 or 4 yards that you need to get that first down, to get the touchdown, and then he'll get those breakaway plays as well. If he had a few more yards on the season, he would probably be in that Heisman Trophy race, I would think. Just because he's such a dominant player, and it forces the defense to be ready for that, which leaves some guys open on the outside in order to score some touchdowns through the passing game as well. I mean, that's a huge place that they have. That was my beast mode, but I just wanted to bring that up because you kind of threw that out there as well.
I told you so. I'm sticking with Bo Nix every week until somebody proves me wrong.
Bo Nix, huh?
Yeah.
No, his case is building and building.
Minus 9.5 this week to a higher-ranked Washington team. So we'll see how that goes. The odds, the desert says the odds are in Oregon's favor.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about that later as well, but they are playing a better football game right now than Washington.
Basically, what's cool about that game, which I think you very rarely see, is your top 2 Heisman candidates going head-to-head in the last game of the year, because Heisman voting ends at the end of did it end already or next? It's at the end of the conference championship week. So they vote on like Sunday. So they have the top 2 going head-to-head.
Might be the difference.
That game is close, and Oregon wins by a close one. Could they both get in?
No.
I know we're saving that
It's a-
towards the
we're
end, but
talking
think
about
about that. Yeah.
And it sort of
Stay on
depends.
script. Stay on script.
Sort of.
Chew on that till the end.
And that keeps our listeners listening when they know something great is coming.
Suspense is killing me.
You know, the suspense, I'm telling you. Okay, beast mode. Nope, unexpected. We'll go with unexpected. And the only unexpected thing I saw is how well Auburn played compared to what I thought they would play. But does anyone? What's your unexpected? I haven't gotten to you on any of these.
Now,
yet.
your unexpected was Oregon State didn't show up. I mean, that's possibly the worst game they've played all year playing Oregon.
They just got shut down.
I'm saying Oregon played great. I mean, they were going to win the game, but it's like once Oregon State got hit in the mouth, it's like they quit in the first quarter, and that was it. DJ Alphabet looked like Clemson DJ Alphabet.
There's probably some Clemson fans out there that are having a smile in their beer over that game. So
I'd say my unexpected is Missouri. This
Blowing
entire
out.
season, 10-win season,
And blowing
That's
out
huge.
Arkansas.
Blowing out Arkansas at the end.
But the
I never
10 wins-
expected that. But
the 10 win
wins,
season is way
Missouri,
more unexpected.
Who would have ever thought that coming into this season? I
I
know it
mean,
wasn't me.
in competitive losses, they never really got blown
That's what I'm
out.
saying. It's a bounce here, bounce there. This conversation's like we're all really going like, holy cow, we're really talking about Missouri this late in the season.
Right.
And it just shows that a great quarterback can do a lot of things for you.
Yeah, sure
I
as
mean,
hell ain't because of Captain Dink and Dunk, I can tell you that.
No, it's just, I mean, it's a matter of you have a great quarterback leading the team on offense. It inspires people to play better, and then that inspires your defense to play a little bit better as well. I don't think that I don't think they come back next year and do anything unless Cook comes back. I don't think he is, though. I think he's a senior and he'll be gone.
No, I think he's got an extra COVID year. So it's just going to be a matter of can NIL hang enough on him to bring him around.
And maybe because this is a heavy quarterback
year. If he's got another year, it would behoove him to stay because he would probably be a Heisman favorite going into next year.
Yeah, he won't come out of it in the first or second round. But if you wait another year, you're going to have that $7 million check.
Correct.
Per year for sure.
One more unexpected. I have 2 unexpected.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
Listen to this guy, man.
The coaching hires at Texas A&M and Mississippi State. You say those are expected or unexpected? Given the circumstances around the firing kind of mid-season, and then they bring these guys in. I can tell you from my perspective, it's a little unexpected because I'm thinking, okay, you're firing these guys mid-season, you're going to bring in a big name, and maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. I'm not impressed with the hires.
So I think there's a strategy around you do it when the season's pretty much over for you. That way there you get your name in, you avoid people hitting the portal if you get a big name in, and you beat the rush on the other teams that are going to wait till the end of the season to fire their coach.
That's interesting.
And
that makes sense.
And if the coach is leaving from a team that has some premier players, as you are seeing, they can go ahead and jump in the portal for next year. Those kids down at Duke are jumping in. The hire at A&M was not unexpected to me. They could not afford to go grab another big-name coach.
Who did they end up hiring?
The head coach from Duke.
Oh, did they? Okay,
yeah.
I didn't see that.
And he was a former defensive coach for them years past. So they had some history there.
Yeah, he worked for Jimbo as a defensive coordinator.
They could not afford to try to go hire Urban Meyer. They couldn't risk that debacle again.
Yeah. Wow, that's okay.
Still, though, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
I think
maybe
you may
they're good
see more and more of that with the way the portal runs, and again, getting ahead of the rush of the end of the season, getting your pick of your coach so that there's not a whole lot of bids out there.
Yeah, you got to start recruiting as soon as you hit the ground, man.
That's a
It
good
gives
point.
you an extra month and a half to hit the ground running for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
What's crazy is you end up recruiting players that are already there. That's the world we're in right now.
Yeah,
that's true.
Let's jump down to the questions because we're getting a little bit heavy on time or short on time per se, and our listeners are eagerly awaiting some of the conversation pieces that I have down here as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Which player did you have huge expectations for, but completely underperformed this season? And
Hers are the same, but I expected it.
I'm gonna lead with mine just so that you guys know what I'm talking about when I ask
We're
them.
on the same page.
So, Will Rogers from Mississippi State. This guy had a 4,000-yard season 2 years ago.
You like this guy.
A 3,500 yards last season, I think it was. And this season, 1,500 yards. Nobody around him to support him at all.
The creator of the air raid, God rest his soul. That's what you can attest to this.
Exactly right.
I mean, the guy who creates this offense, yeah, you can have some disciples that were around it. They're not going to do it the same way. They're going to try to start spinning it because they think they can do it a little bit better. He's a system quarterback, and the system did not work this year, and that's why they say he's going to be the number one guy in the portal going into next year.
Yeah, he's in the portal.
Yeah, Will Rogers get picked up.
He's in the portal. I bet he goes to USC because they are a team. They're a team that has the people around him to pass to, or he might go to Oregon because they're going to be looking for
He's
quarterbacks.
going to be a Gamecock. He wants to stay in the Southeastern Conference, and they saw what kind of money they'll throw around Spencer Rattler.
Wow.
He's coming here.
And that would be an interesting scenario as
That
well.
would be so cool.
Hugh Freeze could go after him as well too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people looking for a quarterback that's a pocket passer that can put up the yards, and he proved it 2 years ago, last year, and he can do it again next year, but he did not do it this year. Anyway, outside of mine, what is yours?
Gotta put it on you a little bit. Drake May, first 2 weeks of the season, was probably head above everybody else from a Heisman standpoint, and then North Carolina just fell off the edge of the cliff, never looked back. Not a great season from them with what the expectations were from them. So for him, he went from Heisman, what place did he take last year for Heisman? Third to may not even be on the ballot.
He won't be on stage.
No, he's definitely not. Yeah, that is an underperformance for sure. Anybody else? You have one? It's the same as
Go
this,
ahead.
so go ahead.
It's the same.
Well, mine is Caleb Williams.
And he's the Heisman Trophy winner last year. And
Right.
what, 4 losses
But
this year?
honestly, his statistics this year are not that far off. His touchdowns are far off from the previous year. But statistically, his attempts, his completions, they're not that far off. It's
No,
just-
he had a good season.
He did have a good season.
Just not a winning.
His team had a poor season. He had a good season. I needed him to get those 12 extra touchdowns he forgot about, but that's the only thing I have to say
Their
about
defense,
him.
they probably still would have lost.
Correct.
So
Yeah, oh, for
Rebel,
sure.
yours was the same as hers?
Yeah, I mean, but I expect it. So I'm putting a little spin on it. I expect it. The problem is with that is you have hit the nail on the head. Statistically, other than his touchdowns, it's very similar to a Heisman Trophy year.
Yeah.
His biggest problem is how he conducts his business. He has turned off a lot of people in a lot of places just because of how he goes about it. And should that matter? We could argue that on a different night. But that's why you haven't heard about those stats, because you start pissing off writers, you start pissing off analysts and all those things because you think you are discrediting and a disservice to the game. They don't keep propping you up so everybody sees those West Coast numbers when college football is very heavily Southeastern based. That's what you're seeing.
Yep.
Good point. So let's flip the page and say, who? I'll go with you on this one, Chopper. Who was a player that overperformed this season? Someone that you didn't see coming at all, and they just really blew it out of the water. If you don't have one on top of your head, I could go with mine, and then you think about
go
that
with
for a
you.
second. So, I'm going with Georgia's Carson Beck. Everyone laughed at the guy. The pictures were there. You had that down too? Well, then you take it away there, Rooster.
No,
Because I got him secondary as well.
That's
So go.
okay. Carson Beck could be the goofiest looking guy in as far as quarterbacks go in college football. Low expectations, manage the game. You got a good defense. Please don't do anything stupid. I think there was several games where he came out, made several amazing passes. Look forward to seeing him in the future. Unfortunately, I think Georgia's going to be good with him staying at quarterback for a little while here.
And this is a guy, he had 3,500 yards so far this season. 22 touchdowns. He's the 6th highest QBR in college football. I mean, this guy will be in the Heisman talk next year if he does a similar performance. If he has the same staff or the same people around him to throw to, and he most likely will. I mean, Georgia is not lacking. So I think that you're already talking this time next year. We're going to be saying Carson Beck might be a Heisman guy. Who knows? Who do you got?
We've already touched on it. Brady Cook.
Oh, yeah.
Almost 3,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's got a passer rating of 158.5. And guys, he doesn't have, let me speak proper English here. He doesn't have the marquee skill guys around him that say Florida State, Alabama has around him. You've never heard of his receivers. You've never heard of his running backs. And this is what he's been able to do in a very surprising Missouri team. Again, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah. Did anybody see Spencer Rattler coming this season? He's talking about Spencer Rattler, right?
For a team that had a losing record, Spencer Rattler did well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought about him too, but I picked Shedeur Sanders because he's on a losing team with statistics similar to Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they're not losing, but
those 500-600-yard games they had early in the season really did help.
4 and 8, and I thought that when Dion was going on and on about his kids, I thought he was full of crap.
They can play.
Yeah.
They can play.
They can play some football.
Yeah, and he comes into a new place, and they've got the higher elevation, because I like to bring that up, and it's cold. He's used to being in warm locations. I mean, he had a lot going against him, and although the team didn't end up at least 500, it's a good first season for them.
I got an interesting thing I've read the other day. What if a big Power 5 SEC school throws money at Shedeur to lure him away? Would he leave?
That dude's making plenty of money just because.
He wouldn't. No.
Have you seen the commercials he's
Oh,
in?
no. I'm not.
Say, what kind of car did he get?
He has a
Rolls Royce.
Rolls
And if they
Royce
put the
SUV.
food on, they put the
Again,
food
though,
on. Yeah.
money's not the issue. The allure of playing for an SEC school, would that be enough of a lure to pull him away from Daddy?
I think what Daddy needs to figure out is how to pull in real talent and put a defense together.
Can't buy them all.
He's got the momentum. He's got the name. He's got everything he needs to put a team together. He only had a short period of time to do it. I think I'm not going to count Neon Dion out at all.
Has he ever failed?
So I think he's already looking forward and making sure that he's got defense next year.
I mean, after this first loss, he said this is the worst we're going to be. And it's true. Like, this is the worst we're going to be. This season is the worst they're going to be. He's going to have no problem recruiting people. They said, this 5-star quarterback that he recruited for 2024-2025 season dropped off.
Remind me what conference they're moving into?
They're moving into the Big 12.
Going back to the Big 12.
Yes, back to the Big 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, let's face it, as far as popularity, spotlight, all that, he's getting all that at Colorado. So I don't see him wanting to get lured away from money, away from his dad, and away from his comfort zone. His dad has put together a system to spotlight the quarterback play, whereas in the SEC, he might be handing the ball off 25, 30 times a game.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take it off the rails.
No, and that's 100%. That's a good conversation right there. Should 6-6? Hold on. Besides the fact that we should have mud wrestling matches for the women in our Facebook group, that we should do pay-per-view
wrestling,
because it would be.
I wasn't here for that last week.
It'd be big money.
Oh, it happened again this morning.
But there was another fight, not over Taylor Swift, by the way.
No.
This was over
Taylor Swill.
This was not over Taylor
Trans alter ego.
Yeah. This was a fight not over Taylor Swift. It was over whether 6-6 teams should be able to go to a bowl game. And I think that this is great that we're moving away from Taylor Swift into
But you
relevant
keep bringing it up,
conversation.
just like now. Shut up.
Shut
up.
Okay, so 6-6, I'm going to say yes.
No.
It is a time-honored tradition in college football to be bowl eligible and play in a bowl game.
Why would you
No.
Yeah.
When they established 6 wins, if I'm not mistaken, is when they played 8 games a year or 10 games a year. So therefore, you were well over 500. You were one of the better teams. That's why the 6-win total was there. Now you can be very mediocre. Look, this year alone, they did not have enough 6-win teams to fill the bowl game, so they're giving waivers to Jacksonville State and the Pukes up at JMU
These things are about
to
money.
get in.
It's not an extra game. It's money.
Money's driving all this, but the thing is, you're right, and I can't argue against what he just said, but the quality is crap. I mean, does really people want to see 2 6-6 teams doing what they do? No, they don't.
But depends. Is it December 23rd at noon? Yes, I do. Okay. What else is going on?
Yeah.
Because you're a gambling degenerate.
It's like the Preparation H Bowl.
And in all honesty, don't take another game away from these poor guys, man. If you're a senior, it's your last chance to play football ever again in a situation like that.
You bring up a great point to that, though. Now that you're bringing in some of these, we'll call it mediocre teams from a season, if they've got some premier players that have NFL aspirations, deuces, they're not even playing in these games because I'm not going to go play in a 6-6 who gives a damn bowl. They're gone. I'm preparing for the NFL. So you end up watching the B squad play the B squad. So it's not even teams that played during the year.
Unless you're NFL 4th or 5th rounder and you want one more time to get your game out.
But to your point there, unless they're out of eligibility, they're going to do that. They kind of cruise, come back for another year, collect their money, and do it next season. So, no, I think it used to be it was prestigious to make a bowl game. That meant something. Now, I mean, again, I'm looking from a purist perspective, not a money perspective. Now it's again, what did they say? 3/4 of teams make bowl games now, almost.
It's ridiculous.
It's absurd.
Well, the
I'm
Gators
looking
didn't make a
forward
bowl
to the
game.
Pop-Tart Bowl, and I want to see the players eat the Pop-Tart after.
You like watching Beamer get that freaking dump of mayo on his head.
It's a little weird.
I like that too.
It's a lot weird.
All right.
Like an elephant.
Current. We're gonna get through this topic really quickly, okay? Current. Y'all are nuts. We're gonna take a laugh pause, folks.
Sorry.
Let these folks.
I'm trying to pull it off the reservation too many times.
All right. So, current playoff scenarios right now. right now, if all 4 undefeated teams lose this weekend, Washington loses to Oregon, Georgia loses to Alabama, FSU loses to Louisville, and
Michigan loses
to Iowa, then we are in a situation.
Roll Tide.
We're in a situation where we have, I think it's 8. We have 8 one-loss teams that are competing for a spot in the top 4. How do they work that out?
They can say whatever they want. They'll put up all these analytics, but behind the closed doors, they're going to go, okay, which of all these one-loss teams are going to draw the most fans and make the most money?
Ohio State,
Michigan, Texas, and Georgia, Alabama. Pick your poison.
Honestly, if Alabama wins in the SEC championship, Alabama's in. So let's be honest.
But
if Oregon wins and everybody else loses, I think Oregon's in. Texas, automatic if they win.
Which is disgusting.
You think it's automatic if Texas wins?
If all 4 of those teams lose, and Texas wins their conference championship against Oklahoma State, Texas is going to be in.
I think that's the only way Texas has been in.
They got to have help.
They need 2 of the 4 teams that are undefeated to lose this weekend. I think.
I read
more.
I read an interesting article this week. They said if that chaotic scenario occurs, and that's the NCAA's worst nightmare, if that happens, is if they put Alabama in over Texas, the message that is written is the regular season doesn't matter. Right. Because basically, even if it's the first game of the year, and right now I think Alabama would roll them if they replay right now.
We have seen in the past where end of the year games matter more than beginning of the year games.
Oh,
so
they do, but there's other factors that play into it. But now you've got the scenario: 2 one-loss teams. The one loss was against that other team. If you negate that game, you basically are saying season games don't matter as much as they
because you got to look at the rest of the schedule they're playing too, and the schedule that Alabama played was different than the
way tougher.
I'm telling you though,
it was competitive.
It was,
If they beat Oklahoma State,
not the SEC.
No, but the problem is this: you're supposed to put the 4 best teams in. Okay, if all things you're supposed to put the 4 best teams in. Look, Iowa's not going to beat Michigan, so they're in. They're going to win. But all those others have possibilities of having all these one-loss teams. You're supposed to put the 3 remaining 3 best teams in. It won't happen.
Just so you know, the Iowa team over is 6.5 points for Saturday. The Iowa team over total for the game is 6.5.
And I will take it because Michigan's going to have rolled them up so badly, they're going to start pulling players in the 3rd quarter. They'll score 10 points.
Okay, so there's one person that we know of that makes picks every single week and is truly accurate, and that is our man Landon the Legend, okay? So let's talk about his picks really fast, but first we got to let everyone hear what they are, all right?
Michigan, Oregon, Oklahoma State, Louisville, Georgia.
All right, so if Landon the Legend had his way with this, then we're going to be looking at Michigan and Georgia are in, because he chose Michigan and Georgia to win their games, okay? But then he's got Oklahoma State beating Texas, so Texas is out. And he's got Louisville beating FSU.
That's not crazy.
FSU is going to be a one-loss team. They move right to the back of the pack. They're ranked 9th at that point. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if the Louisville that beat the tar out of Notre Dame shows up on Saturday in Charlotte, then
just lost to Kentucky,
right?
Correct.
So they're going to be angry. This is all they got to play for.
Yeah, they lost to Kentucky.
I think that is a great example of the look past game. Except you just don't look past an SEC.
FSU did not look good against Florida.
Right. Yeah, they looked. They were
playing with the water boy at quarterback.
Yeah, but hold on. Their water boy is 3 seasons in with Florida State. Like he's not that bad of a quarterback. Now he would.
It's high quality H2O.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. First 2 quarters he was looking rough. He started to get the wheels under him. The quarter 3 and quarter 4 won the game. I would say that Louisville will have their hands full because Florida State has a good defense, but I think that they do have a chance to win.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so that being said, Landon the Legend, I think that he has laid out the scenario where we have Michigan and Georgia in the national championship, or playing in the top 4, and then we have Oregon, who he says wins, so they're in, and then we have one other one-loss team that was not in a conference championship, and that's going to be Ohio State.
Negative. No way.
Oh, yeah.
Over Georgia?
No.
Georgia's in.
Georgia's already in.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's going to,
Yes.
in his
Now,
situation,
over Washington.
Yes.
Over Texas.
Washington loses to Oregon.
Yep.
Texas loses to Oklahoma State in his scenario. So I'm saying
In
that
his scenario,
Ohio
Ohio
We
State.
have only seen one other time when the team didn't make it to the conference championship and be in the playoffs, and that was Alabama.
Yeah.
See.
But Ohio State barely lost to a Michigan team.
Barely,
They were
yeah.
number 2 and number 3.
7 points, and Ohio State was number 2.
So basically, what you're arguing, you'd be arguing Washington or Ohio State or Florida State.
What happened? Oh yeah, Texas losing.
He said he had Texas losing. So you'd be, and of those 3 teams, Ohio State.
Yeah,
Slam dunk.
and right now you have Oregon and then Washington, number 5 and number 6. So all those two teams just move right in, especially with Oregon winning. So that being said, let's talk about these championship games. We're going to start with one that's near and dear to your heart, Rebel. We're going to start with App State versus Troy because I have no idea about that game. I haven't watched a single minute of Troy football.
They played this year.
And
They did
probably 20 minutes of App State football. So tell me what's going to happen in this game.
Honestly, in the Sun Belt, Troy is the most complete team there.
They're
As far
10-2.
Their losses were to Kansas State and the Pukes up at JMU. So, I mean, they're a solid football team. They're 6.5 opening point favorite. It is at Troy. I would have much rather have been in Boone. If they'd lost to Southern Miss, we'd be hosting this week, but that didn't happen. My thing is, Troy right now has been kind of cruising through the season. They played the weak part of their schedule at the back end of the schedule. They played their hard games at the beginning. And App State is now on a 6-game winning streak, I think it is. And we were back end heavy as far as our hard teams, that whether that be in JMU, whether that be in Marshall, whether that be in Georgia Southern. So rolling into this game right now, I think it's honestly a grudge match. And I don't normally do this because I'm superstitious. The Mountaineers pulled out by a field goal late, and we're going to be.
Oh, you actually say it.
First time I've heard him make a bold prediction on App State.
I said we were going to kick the shit out of Georgia Southern last week. We did that. Sorry.
All right, you had your say on that game, so we're going to move right into the
I'm good with that.
The first conference championship game that we played this weekend on Friday night. We got the Pac-12 championship, Washington versus Oregon. Last time they played, it did not disappoint. It came down to the last minute. We had a 36-33 score. Washington wins. Oregon missed last-second field goal, I believe, to tie it up, and they did not make it. 541 yards of offense for Oregon, 415 yards for Washington. Oregon's playing better ball right now. I think we all agree than Washington is. I think that we all agree on that.
Do they play on a neutral site?
They're playing on a neutral site. I don't know where, though. I didn't look that up.
Okay.
So, that being said, how does this game play out? Is it a rematch from the last time they played? And is it a similar type scenario? Whoever gets the ball last wins, basically.
Oh, it could be, but I picked Washington.
You picked Washington.
I
think
did.
that they stay undefeated for the whole
Ooh,
season?
they're playing in Vegas.
They're playing in
in the
Vegas.
Black Roomba out in Vegas.
So with,
Oh, no.
So now it decides whichever team comes out and parties the hardest the night before.
Have you ever
right?
been to Eugene?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I'd shut those suckers down.
That's
You
a
are
party
leaving
school,
your
I've
room.
heard, right? All right. So does anyone have anything to say on this game, Rooster?
Yeah.
Where's your money at, my man?
So 9.5 points is way too much for me to put money on Oregon.
Oregon's 9.5 point favor.
I do believe that, like as you mentioned, the statistics were in favor of Oregon, but the mistakes were not. So, I think there was a broadcaster that said one time, whoever makes the least mistakes and scores the most points is going to win the game. So
He's a genius.
He's a genius. Yeah, he's right 100% of the time. So I do believe Oregon is going to come out and win this game. I've actually watched the last couple of Washington games. They play very, very tight games as opposed to what Oregon's been doing. So I think it's going to catch up to Washington, and I think Oregon's going to pull this one out in the desert.
I really think Bo Nix has it in him to win this game.
I like it. I like it. I like Oregon here.
And I feel like Michael Penix right now is playing good football. He's playing a Heisman season right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like Washington as a whole, they're playing good football. They're winning the games, but they're not winning by much. They're winning by 3 points each.
Yeah.
Chopper can attest to this. Auburn Bo Nix would come out the gate like a banshee, but by the end of the year, he started fading. He made mistakes. He could not pull through in the big games. This Bo Nix looks completely different. This looks like a confident Bo Nix that has swagger about him, that is ready for this stage. I think, look, if you like offense, I think this game's going to be fun to watch. I think Oregon gets it done this time. And quite frankly, I'm kind of on the Bo Nix Heisman train at this point because I think it's just going to be fun. I mean, I think this is going to be the most entertaining game of of the championship weekend.
I agree. It'll be the highest scoring. It'll be the funnest game to watch. The next best game, I think, and we're going to talk about that one then, is going to be best as in to watch.
Georgia, Alabama.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too. I think so.
Then we'll talk about Georgia, Alabama.
Who were you going to say?
I was going to say that I think that Texas and Oklahoma are going to put up a lot of points. It'll be fun to watch because of that. But, you know what? We're going to talk about the Big 12 championship because I don't want to talk about Georgia, Alabama. We got to keep our listeners around until we actually talk about that game, right? So, it's a strategic approach, I'm telling you. Okay. Strategery. And we got to talk about those boring games first. And, you know, the ones that are least to the heart of our fans.
That's why you started with the Pac-12?
That's why I started with the Pac-12, because we're in South Carolina. We don't know anyone out there. All right, so moving forward. Big 12 championship, Texas versus Oklahoma State. 9-3 is what Oklahoma State's record is right now. Oklahoma State and Texas have not played in the regular season. Oklahoma State did beat Oklahoma, and Oklahoma beat Texas. So with that being said, is Texas going to be able to beat the team that beat Oklahoma?
Yes. Yawn.
Yes.
Yawn, okay.
Yeah, I got to tell you that the Cowpokes are one of the reasons I'm down $400 on the season because they are so unpredictable on what they do. I can tell you right now,
it's true.
They have the ability to come in and beat up Texas, but they haven't played consistent enough. I think Texas knows that they have everything riding on this game. Oklahoma's only war cry at this point is that they can knock Texas out of it, which I don't know that that's that much motivation. I see Texas winning this one. I'm going to give Texas 10 points.
Oklahoma State lost their first two games.
No, I believe they lost their first one, and then they played a really close one against a really terrible team. I thought they lost more recently, but they
lost 3 games total. They started off.
They won their first 2, then they lost to South Alabama.
Yeah, I mean,
and they lost to Iowa State.
Yeah, okay.
Lost to Central Florida, so they've lost to some suspect teams.
Central Florida is not good this year.
And 4 interceptions in that game. Like I said,
but to your point, UFC beat them 45-3. South Alabama beat them 33-7. So these have been blowouts by some group of 5 schools. That being said, I had this as my upset pick of championship weekend because Van Gundy always finds a way to throw a turd in the soup.
Party up the front, party in the back, business up front.
Yes, sir. I'm a man. I'm 40.
I called
about 45 probably.
I called FSU last February to be in the top 4 at the end of the season. Okay,
I did too.
Let's talk about the ACC championship game. Then you got Louisville, who is 2-10 or 10-2. Sorry, 2-10, 10-2. And they lost last week to Kentucky. That is the worst nightmare of FSU. We already talked about that. That they're coming in with a vengeance. And FSU down their star quarterback. I mean, we all know, is it Dillian? What's his name? Jordan Travis?
Yes. No, Travis isn't.
No, sorry.
That's okay.
We'll call back to the producers, see if they can give us a name.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, their star quarterback, you and I love this guy. You even call him a Heisman Trophy.
Jordan Travis.
You were right. I got it right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was calling him something else the other day, and my brother-in-law, he's like, I was calling him.
I think you were calling him Jalen.
No. I was calling him the Jordan from Georgia a couple years ago. That was on defense. Big guy, Jordan
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was calling him that guy's name, and my brother-in-law, who's an FSU fan, he's like, I was just not going to correct you because you were looking like an idiot. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of rude, right? So anyway, Jordan Travis. He's down. He's gone. I don't know that FSU stands a chance against Louisville.
They're 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, and that's because you don't have your star quarterback there.
Yeah.
Does anyone think that this is a game that's going to be fun to watch? High scoring, low scoring, what?
It's not going to be fun, and again, from a competitive standpoint, I almost want Louisville to win for the mercy killing because if Florida State gets in as the 4 seed is undefeated, and you're going to have a hard time arguing against that, they get annihilated in the first round. Annihilated. I mean, it's again, I had them there. They had the talent. That's how much that quarterback meant to that team. But at this point now, honestly, I want Louisville to win for the mercy killing perspective because if they don't, the mercy killing it ain't even going to be a mercy killing. It's going to be a slaughter that happens a couple weeks later.
Yeah, they'll be ranked number 3 or 4, so they'll be playing Michigan or Georgia / Alabama, maybe. I don't know. No, Alabama would drop into 4th. If Alabama was there,
FSU might jump to a 2. They'll be probably playing the 3 seed, which would. They're going to get killed no matter what seed they're.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because they for the first time in a while had the goods, and now they don't because of injury. And
we're not done yet.
Injury is the equalizer.
Yeah, okay. We got to talk about the Big Ten Championship really fast.
Michigan by 30. Let's go.
All right.
It's a 23-point spread right now for that game.
Yeah.
Short of them getting the Gonosipha Herpelades, they win.
Yeah, Iowa has not been.
Iowa
has not had any test this season at all.
No.
They have a good defense. They cannot score on offense for the life of the program.
If Iowa were to pull it off, where does that rank in upsets all time? Top 5?
Oh, that's a good one.
No, App State versus.
No.
Michigan.
Top 5. I said top 5. I didn't say the top.
It's a pretty damn big upset.
Definitely top 10. Definitely top 10.
I think that would be, I mean, I'd have to go back and look at that. I know there's been probably higher. At least, all time, at least top 20.
Slam dunk. Slam dunk. Yeah, there we go.
The big one, Georgia versus Alabama. We've been wanting to talk about this game.
Let's preface this. Georgia has never beaten Alabama in Atlanta. Ever.
Until this weekend.
You've been trying to get them beat all year. You going to get them beat, or are you drinking the Kool-Aid?
I'm still going with Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
I'm going with Nick Saban in this match.
Number 6 quarterback in the country.
Nick Saban in this
versus the number 3.
Yeah.
So who's 3?
Milroe.
Thank you.
So this is
I like Alabama in this situation, and I haven't quite figured out how that's going to affect the top 4 right now, but I'm figuring that out right now.
I mean, how do you have Alabama? Is there better defense? No. Is there better offense? No. Better special teams?
No, I think
y'all are overestimating Georgia.
We've been trying to underestimate Georgia
player
all
to
year.
player to player, team depth, even. I'm going totally based on just coaching. I'm going on just Nick Saban is going to outcoach Kirby Smart this weekend.
Wow.
I
think everything's even except for that point.
The conspiracy theorists say Alabama's going to win to get them both in, like what they said last year.
He's not going to.
I just don't see it. I think what Alabama lacks in defense, Georgia's going to take advantage of. I got Georgia 30, Alabama 20.
Now, if you think you're going to see the same Alabama team
that played
you saw last week against Auburn, again, you will not see that same Alabama team will not show up playing Georgia.
Those boys are going to have fire in their eyes.
It will not be the same Alabama team. I'm telling you.
They got embarrassed last week. Literally being the number 9 team in the country.
The number 1 team. They got a chance to make the playoffs. Nick Saban, Alabama will be firing on all cylinders this weekend. Guaranteed.
I think Alabama wins.
All cylinders.
I think Alabama wins by.
It won't even be. You'll be like, oh my gosh, is this the team that played Auburn last week?
It's just like Ric Flair always said: to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
And they're on a 30-game winning streak right now.
What the fuck, y'all?
What the fuck?
Cheeks, what the fuck?
I'm so glad you just took a big bite of French fries. I don't know if anybody saw the game on Sunday. It was a pretty good game.
It was a terrible game.
And it was the Eagles and the Bills.
Great field goal.
And there was this group of guys wearing white that just decided to try the tush push against the Eagles, the people most successful for it. and they
Good stuff.
No, they were successful. So the Bills did the tush push, and they
After
were
bitching
successful.
and moaning about it.
It was awesome, and I'm like, oh my god, they're doing the brotherly shove, and everybody at the bar is looking at me like I'm insane.
I
They know
really-
what that is, and it was successful.
I
It
really
was
thought what
amazing.
you were going to say was the guys in white and black helped the Eagles win. But,
Oh.
you know, whatever.
Wow, you are bitter.
Staying on topic
What
of,
the
of
fuck?
what the fuck.
Boy, I hope you bring up the collar. That wasn't a horse collar.
The one that ripped his jersey? Anyways.
That was the front. That's not a horse collar.
Yeah.
And a closed fist on the back.
Anyways,
if you zoom
all right.
in, that's a closed fist.
So,
What the fuck?
Yes.
Staying with the theme of the zebras, just crushing souls. Last week at the Gamecock game, it was some of
bad.
the worst refereeing I'd ever seen in my life. One of the calls was Clemson had a play, flag thrown at the beginning of the play, first down Clemson, the referee comes on and he says, illegal formation after the play, first down Clemson, and gives them the first down -5 yards.
Whoa.
Not even joking. Not even
Whoa.
joking. It was
What
terrible.
the fuck, refs? What the fuck?
Stop
Yeah,
ruining football.
I'm going back to what I was talking about in the beginning. What the fuck, Hugh Freeze? Play some damn defense.
That's
4th and 31. Damn it.
What the fuck?
Damn it.
I actually got two really quick ones so I can roll into one. Number one, Arkansas, what the hell are you thinking about rehiring Bobby Petrino? Number two, Ohio State fans, what the fuck? Your coach has basically won 40 games in conference. His only losses are to Michigan. He's got a loss in the Final Four. He's 11-1 right now,
A
and they're
loss that they should've won.
And they're screaming for his head. I'm like, come on, man. Look, if they'd have fired Harbaugh, they wouldn't be where they are, and probably some signal stealing, but whatever. Ohio State fans, what the fuck?
Last call. NFL predictions, since you all know around this time of year we turn the page slightly for a couple weeks.
I've been
over
there
to
all
NFL.
season.
Yes. So fans, if you like NFL, you might be in for
You
a
need
treat.
to learn to like it so we can extend our season.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it during the
Yeah.
playoffs, so we're getting close. We're getting close, all right? All right. AFC champion, or AFC, who's going to be the AFC and who's going to be the NFC? Go.
This is easy for me.
Go.
Ravens and Chiefs if Taylor starts showing up at all the games again.
Okay, and NFC.
And Cowboys and Eagles if Bradley Cooper keeps attending our Eagle games.
Rooster. AFC.
Yeah, I got to go with the Ravens winning the AFC. I'm going to go with the Eagles winning the NFC. I think we're right there.
All right. Who do you got there?
I got a little bit different because I told you I'm going off the reservation tonight. In the AFC, the Chiefs are down, but they're still one of the top two. The Ravens, the logo is their colors, and statistically saying, on the NFC side, the Eagles and the Lions. My Super Bowl, the Lions and the Ravens.
Wow.
All right, so that's I had Eagles and Lions in the NFC Championship. Right? I'm
You
looking at
drank
it.
the Kool-Aid. I said this before the season
That's
started.
impressive, though. Eagles and Lions.
Surprising
Yeah.
that nobody said San Francisco yet. I'm shocked.
And I didn't have San Francisco. I got the Chiefs, and I got your favorite pretty boy himself, Trevor Lawrence, leading
The Jags.
the Jags against the Chiefs.
Oh, good.
I don't know if that can happen because
Ain't
of the way
no
the
sunshine when he's gone.
All right, who do you got?
Chiefs, Eagles. At the end.
God, that'd be such a putrid
All
match.
right,
It's gonna be,
so
it's gonna happen.
that
It's
is
gonna happen.
that
happen.
is the end of our show. Thank y'all for joining us. Share the show with a friend, and keep on coming back to listen to some more guys in the bar talking.
See ya.